What is up, everybody? It's your boy AJTRIP, and welcome back to the Big Brother Week in Review. As always, let's pick up from where we left off. Last week, Christian and Sarah Beth was on the block after Derek X backdoored Christian, basically. A truish backdoor in every sense of the word. Has had a household, so didn't play in the HOH, didn't chance playing the veto, put her on the block. And Christian, he tried his best. He did not quit. And that's what I love about it. He did not quit. And the house was almost flipped if it wasn't for those doggone, you know, jokers. And uh I think I said last week that I thought it was something having to do with the night before. But actually it looks like it was actually during when the when the feeds went down for Alyssa's phone call. Alyssa got a phone call. Um which by the way we did not see, but she got a phone call. Um, so, but guess what? The feeds were down on the live feeds. Um, Claire and Tiffany were thinking about flipping the vote. They were flipping the vote, and Tiffany asked Christian to go get what's her name, and so for whatever fucking reason, Azza and Derek F, decided to go with decided to go with them. And it was just a, they fucked up the flip so bad, and Tiffany got pissed off, and that's why Tiffany was really pissed off with those two. Why are they coming into her conversation, when they don't need to be, and everything like that. And it was and it was so, it's awful thing. It was an entire awful thing. Because you don't want to see Christian go. Then again, you don't want to see Sarah Beth go, because Sarah Beth has a chance to do something this week too. So, but anyway, Christian left. Then at the end, when he left, he went and kissed Alyssa, which shocked everybody. They had been telling people that it was kind of a brother sister relationship, because obviously you don't want to, when you're a showman, you don't want to put a target on yourself. And for some reason, these people, I don't know if they believed it, but like they had to have known that it was maybe more. And I think back in the mind they did, but they just didn't want to express it. So, but that's what it turned out to be. So we live feeds did not get the HOH. They played the HOH out without us seeing it, which was okay. It's some people bitch and complain because they're paying for the live feeds, and and they want you know and they want to see see the stuff that's happening. But for me, I personally, I do not. I think that's even better. I really do. I think that's even better. So yeah, I think that's a totally a lot better, and than what it is. Because you get time off. Because see, for me, maybe I'm not like other people, but I have the feeds on all day, you know, and I watch, and I listen to see for different things are happening and something like that. And sometimes I just want to it's cool when the comps, and it's cool when other things take time away from the thing, and they put up the be right back, or they put up the cats or something like that. Like today. Today is a perfect day because it's more than likely going to be off all day. It'll be off all day. They'll wake up in about 2 hours and get them ready, and then they'll cut it off for about an hour or so, and then they'll come back, and then about 3 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock, 3:30, no, about probably somewhere between 4 and 5 o'clock Eastern time. Um, they'll cut the feeds off for good, and then we won't get the feeds, until after the show goes off, or if they're doing the HOH competition, it'll be after the HOH competition will go off or whatever. Unless it's something of endurance. Although I won't think that's I don't think that's what it will be. Um, but yeah, that's the way it was. So we didn't see the HOH competition, and it was the knockout HOH, where it's the HOH veto, and this one is wild card, the wild card company. You have to figure out which they play a song, and then you hit which one it is. So we didn't get to see that one. I was the one last year that everybody wanted Devon to win, but she screwed up. She choked as she normally does. Um, and I think that's when the Christmas ended up winning, and of course we ended up putting both Christmas and what's her face? Not Christmas. Bailey and Devon on the block, which is good. Not that lucky this year, unfortunately, but really, and I think for a big thing, I think that as a fan of the show, you can't get you can't get your way every year. You know, like I didn't get it in 21 or 21. Um, get it a little bit in 20, something like that. 19 got it in 19. 18. Uh, For the most part, yeah. For the most part, I got it at 18. Still, I would have seen. Let's see, Paulie was controlling the house for the longest time until he said a couple of things that were, that turned some people off. Um, I would like to see Paulie. Um, yeah, 17. Yeah, I didn't. No, 19, 18. Yeah, 18, as I said, probably 17. Um, yeah, I didn't get it because Vanessa should have won. Got it in 16 with Derek, and so it's just sometimes you don't get what you want. It just feels a lot different this year. As once again, I am mentioning it once again. It's the whole fucking cookout thing. Although I'm hoping for a second half comeback here. Hoping for a second half comeback here because both Sarah Beth, Claire, and Derek X have both expressed. All three have expressed openly about going after two members of the cookout. Claire and DX wants to go after Kylan and X, put them on the block, and Sarah Beth wants to go after Oz and DF because she says guys, people like them, they go a long way because they just think, you can, you don't have to get them out right now because neither one are threats. They're social threats, but they're not physical threats at all. So I'm hoping for one of them. I think would um Alyssa would maybe put up somebody like Ozza and DX, something like that. So I don't want that. And we also have this other thing here. So let's talk about that. Um, this new power that Julie spoke about 2 weeks ago. Last week she told us it was something called the high roller. And what was going to happen was that the America, which I cannot stand, the America would vote for um, America would vote for their favorite person, favorite house guest, and the way it would come up is that um, it would end up being that the top three would get 100 BB bucks, the next three would get $75, and the remaining would get $50, and you could take those bucks and play casino games. The casino games each week, the casino games are going to end up leading to a power. And there was one where it was 2 vetoes. This week was 2 vetoes. I think next week is something where you can take off one of the nominees, or you can change one of the person's nominees. And then the last one should be the last one is going to be basically a coup d'etat where you can overthrow the HOH. And so I think, you know, this year is gonna be kind of it's okay for a sense. I still don't like the fact that, you know, America voting, because America votes, they screw up the game. They really do. And it kind of, you know, and it kind of is what it is, you know, with that. But see, even if they still vote for people who they really shouldn't, you know, who they shouldn't vote for, what they should do is they should go ahead and vote for, um, you know, they should go ahead and they should vote for things like, um, you know, well, what I'm trying to say is that even if they vote for what they shouldn't vote for, they still have to play in the games, and they have to make sure that, you know, they can do so. And I think the good thing is that they can, you know, they do all this after nominations. That's what all it is. They do all this after nominations. So then they do the nominations, and then hire rollers, so that you know if you on the block or not, or what you need to do, because that's what was happening. Colin, who won HOH, by the way, and we'll get to that in a second. You know, he made his 2 nominations, and then they played the high rollers. So I'm hoping that's what, you know, they'll do again this week, and it probably will. And this week, and so it was like 3 games. The first game this week was like for 2 vetoes. The second week, I think I mentioned taking out the block, and then the third week is going to be like a coup d'etat. Some people played, some people didn't, but that's how it's supposed to be. These next 3 weeks going out there, these are going to be game changing weeks. So going back to now the HOH competition, um, somehow, for some way, they the cookout let themselves be the final 6. Incredible. They have done a great job of laying low, undercover, showing that there really wasn't an alliance, but they, you know, showing that it was, you know, it was just 6 black people doing their own different thing. That said, they went ahead and they somehow they they somehow made it so that it was their final 6, and Kylan was just, you know, and Kylan was just Kylan has really come down in a lot of people's eyes, my eyes included. Um, and I was very hesitant about saying things about Kylan on Twitter and even on this thing, because people kept saying on Twitter that him and Brittany were neurodivergent, and I have no idea what that means or anything like that. You know, Brittany had told us night 1 that she was autistic. So I'm trying to think, well, is Kylan like kind of autistic? What does that mean? Somebody on Twitter said that he's ADHD or ADD, yeah, something like that. So if that's all he has, then then good. Then he can go ahead and he can get his wig split and get dragged by many people, including myself included, because he really is just, over the last couple of weeks, he really is trying to show himself to try to be in control of the situation. Tiffany has as well, but kind of really trying to be in control of the situation, kind of control things from the situation. Tiffany, Hannah, and Kylan is trying to do that. They're trying to set themselves up to be the mastermind, so that when if they were somehow to be in the final two, then they would, say, well, I did this, I did this, I did this, showing that they had control over the house throughout and they just wasn't one member of the six. They were the head of the six. And I think that's what they're really trying to do. Tiffany, Hannah, and Kyla are trying to show that they are the head of the six. And I continue to say this: if the six does stay together, it's going to end up being Ozzy and Derek F at the end of the at the end of the show, because they don't do a goddamn thing. I'm telling you, I made a joke on Twitter. DF is no longer for Derek Frazier. DF is for their furniture, because that's all he fucking does is lay on the furniture. That's all he does, and he finally had to do. Even when he's nominated, he's still laying on the furniture. So that's who that he is. Oz is just a piece of fucking thing that doesn't need to be in it. Oh God, it's so fucking ugly. Jesus. I've never seen such an uglier house guest. She may be the ugliest house guest in the history of this show. God, it's just sickening. And for weeks on end, it was like going back on back. I had to watch her on Big Brother, then I had to watch Cachet on Love Island, and finally they get rid of Cachet. I wish these people get rid of Oz. This was why I'm kind of rooting for Sarah Beth. Sarah Beth to get it, put up Oz and DF. Let's get the Oz get the fuck out of the house. Anyway, so Kylan went HOH, and he was actually supposed to throw it to Ozzy. He didn't do that. Made Ozzy suspicious, and poor Tiffany. Tiffany was supposed to win it, but she hit the wrong button, and then Kylan ended up winning it anyway. So because they wanted Sarah Beth out, since Kylan's HOH, he's not. Sarah Beth is his girl. He's not gonna put up Sarah Beth. He's not even gonna put up Derek X. I don't think he was. There's been some talk on the feeds and some talk in the diary room about him, doing so. But I don't think he ever wanted to put up DX. To him, his options were Claire, Alyssa, and Brittany. He put up DF so that to throw off scent of the cookout. But those were the three that one of those three he wanted to go home, and he decided to put up Claire next to him. So he nominated Claire and DF. They did the whole high rollers thing. Um, which was the thing last year from when Kaser when Kaser was almost won HOH. So that's what that was. Like the sliding game. A few people played. Somebody a few didn't. I think that some are gonna. DX says he's going to wait until wait until week 3. He may not get that chance because if a member of the if let's see. Yeah, because I think if if Derek F and Xavier win, he's going up, and I think I think if those three win, he's going up. I think Tiffany's talking. She's putting up Sarah Beth. She's putting up Sarah Beth and she's probably gonna put up Sarah Beth and Kylan. It just makes sense to do that. I think Hannah would do the same thing. She probably put up Sarah Beth and Kylan because they both like Derek X. They want Derek X to last longer. They probably want Derek X to last longer than the cookout guys. Um um so Derek might be able to play, but probably not. I'm rooting for Derek X to win so that he doesn't have to play. He's saving it for his team. Some other people played. Obviously, the two people house guests played. The nominees played. Kylan played. With Kylan, the reason why Kylan played because he wanted to get rid of this power. He wanted to get rid of this power, smoke it out. Because I guess once the power, um, we didn't get a good thing about it because I guess once the power has been used, it's unavailable anymore. So So I think so. You know, I think what happens is like if next year, like if next week, the other power that they had, if that one doesn't get used, I think it can be used. You can go for it the week after next to go along with the other along with the other thing as well. So I think that's the way it goes. So, but yeah, so they did a big thing on trying to get um the power things and once you do that and once you play your game, once you figure out who are the people who won the game, you then can take on you can make a bet. You can make a bet on who was from the veto players and who was going to win win the veto. And four people won, four people was able to make a bet, and you can bet on who wins. And whoever wins the bet, whoever wins the veto, and whoever bet on that person to win, would get a second veto. So, and then they even showed who they even gave a hint about what the veto competition was, and it was OTAB, which in our live feeds, they were talking about OTAB, and everybody watching live feeds wondering how do they know it's OTAB. Well, we saw it last night that they showed it veto backwards, which is OTAB. There were a few people who just caught on to the fact that OTAB. I found out about 4 or 5 seasons ago that that's what that was. After them doing it for years. That OTAB was veto backwards. But then, then this year there was a couple people I saw on Twitter that was like, just realizing now that veto is OTAB backwards. Holy smokes! So they got the opportunity to play veto and everything like that. Tyler was talking about, he wanted Claire to win because during his one-on-one competitions, Claire was talking about people he wanted to go after, and she wanted to go after, and she talked about, Ozza, DF, and Xavier, members of the Cookout. The last night we saw on the TV copy that Tiffany she really doesn't want Claire to leave yet, because Claire is her number one. Her number one outside of the Cookout, which again would just it's this would have been a fantastic season if even if they just put three three black people. It would have been a great season. It would have been a great season because because I don't think because when you put on six, right, when you put six in there, it makes it seem like that it's just it's an agenda brought on by CBS to get them a black champion. That's a black winner, and that's exactly what that is. But even if they put three in there, even if they had put three in the house, right? I don't know if they would have felt the need to stick together so much as as they do with six. Because it's just numbers, right? It's just numbers. There's 11 people, that make it to jury, right? With 9 people being the jurors and then the final two, right? That's just numbers. They're always gonna have numbers. It's always gonna be 6-5. If things go right for them. But if it was just three, I think the game would have been a lot better. Because yes, maybe they would have stuck together, but they also would have played their own game. And I think especially when like Xavier and Tiffany, they made you know they talked about it last week once Christian left. They both loved Christian, and Xavier, we know he has a fondness for Whitney, a big fondness, probably a fondness that wants he doesn't want to admit more than he really does, but he really likes Whitney. And I think if it was just three, he would they probably they would have like he would they would have like maybe stayed together, and something like that. They would have tried to have still another understanding. Hey, we're gonna stay together. We're gonna try to throw the scent off each other, you know, from all the other house guests. But they still would have been able to also play their own game. and I think that's because see now the game that they're playing is it's not for them, and I would have loved to have seen Xavier and Tiffany. Jesus Christ, I don't know. The other one's really gonna breaks my shit. The only one I really do like is Xavier, personally. Not personally, but anyway, Tiffany's okay, but she's also fucking frustrating because she's trying to be a control thing. Hannah is such a bitch that I can't do. Oz is so fucking ugly. Derek F is sickening, and Kai this week he really showed himself to be a jackass. Uh, so maybe so maybe if it was just in a literal jacket, not a dude in a jackass suit, but if so maybe if it was just Tiffany and Xavier, you could have had that understanding for them of not, they weren't gonna go after each other. They're gonna try to throw the scent off of each other. They still could have played their own game, which would have been so fucking cool. Yeah, I guess because it would have been so fucking cool to see them two just play regular Big Brother. It would have been fucking awesome, man. I really do think, and then have other people with seasons and they put on great people. They put on people that actually that wanted to keep the twist, basically. You know, they're still doing teams. Derek Goff still talking about the former Jokers, but he's still talking about Ozzy and Brittany as his members, his peoples. Same thing with with what's her name with Tiffany and Claire, and Xavier was so badly trying to keep you know the Kings together last week. When Sarah Beth was on the block and things like that, he was trying to do everything to make sure to keep the Kings to stay together. That it just would have been so cool to see this, but didn't happen like that. So unfortunately, never cast this way again, Big Brother. Never cast this way again. So yeah, I went off on a rant. The phone rang, so I don't know necessarily where exactly where I was talking to. Well, I was talking about Claire and Tiffany and Claire. So so Tiffany kind of does her magic and gets Kai off the Claire train. Says we need to be looking at Brittany. So and Brittany did. She put up Kylan and Sarah Beth as on doing the knockout thing because they were the only known duo in the game. So that already put Colin on Brittany's scent as to say, she's doing like this. Even though when he did a one-on-one with Brittany after he won HOH, they kind of made a deal of 2 weeks of safety. She doesn't see the block, you know, this week in any fashion, nomination, renown, whatever. So they kind of threw the scent on Brittany, and so then they went on. They did the HOH. They did the veto. He threw it to Alyssa so that Alyssa could get the first veto. He got the second veto. Um, and and then that happened. Again, it threw a little stuff on Kylan because once again he could have won, but he didn't. He let Alyssa win it. Who was supposed to be one of his targets, right? One of his other targets. So that's things out. Well, and last night's episode left on a cliffhanger. He had Sarah Beth let what's that let Brittany get a get a get a hint of what he was doing. Um, so and Brittany, like when he went in, talked to Ty, tried to get Kai not to do it, but so and we'll get on the TV show tonight. We'll get everything happening with the veto nominations and all that is. But of course people in live feeds know what happened. He did he with his veto he took off Claire, and again it's another thing, you know, he took off Claire because he wanted to control what happened. So he wanted to say, "Hey Claire, I took you off. Now you owe me something." This is what he wants. He wants to do. He really is trying to control each and part of this game. and it end up being like people's savior, something like that. And it's just not the case, not the case at all. It really isn't. Um, so what I would like to see, um, and then he put up Brittany, and Brittany just she had another kind of breakdown, and she just couldn't believe it. She was crying afterwards, and she feels she feels picked on, and again I think what some people and I think Dingo him's to watch. She put it out here on Twitter, which I think is right. She may not be meant for Big Brother because um this is part of the game, and it sucks. It sucks. It sucks at the fact that you got to keep putting on the block. But as we mentioned, she's not the only one. Spencer went on the block many times in season 16 and season 15. The next year, Victoria, she was the pawn of pawns. She was the ultimate pawn, taken to final three with Derek and Derek and Cody, taking the final three. So I mean, it's it kind of is what it is. Um, things like this. So, Brittany was, and because she's autistic, she may not be able to, you know, you know, see some of the things. She may not be understand some of the final parts of the game that that maybe others would understand about it. Even though it would suck, and yes, it feels like you maybe are getting picked on, but that it's part of the game. This is what needs to happen. Um, and maybe also because of that, you'd also see, so why am I keep getting put on the block as a pawn? I was put on the block by I've been put on the block by Kylan twice. I've been put on the block. I was put on the block by X, Xavier. I was put on the block um by Derek X. You know, I was trying to think: is this some type of thing? Why aren't these other people being used as pawns? Why hasn't Tiffany been used? Why is this and this right? Um, and then maybe I will start to look and see maybe in our start. Maybe I'll make a count. Well, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 black people, and five non-black people. Derek X and Alyssa are also people of color. So there's there's possibly an alliance of 6 of the black, maybe even 8 who is just all people of color, and that's what they're just doing. And they're just nominating all of the white people. So and maybe you would you put that together, but maybe she just doesn't see it that way. So um yeah, it's unfortunate. It really is. It's unfortunate. But she was on the block, and she's had some conversations, and in those conversations, Kai has just been a total dick to her. Has really just been a total dick, and he is just and she has just not been able. She just has not understood it too. She just hasn't. So, um, also this week there's been some other talk. We mentioned it earlier. Sarah Beth has mentioned how what she wants Ozzy and DF. Claire and DX have come together. They didn't understand why Kylan went after Claire to begin with. Why would they not do that when there were some other people in the house he could have went after? DX was kind of wondering maybe was he a backdoor plan or anything like that. So then Claire and DX they started talking and they come to the conclusion like make sure they need to go after Kai and X. No, that's what they need to do. And there's no sugarcoating about it. Let's just go straight for them. Put both of them up on the block. Get one of them out of the house. And then there's that, and then Hannah and Tiffany, they got together for their idiot fest. Talking about that they are the two strongest people in the house game wise. No, they're not. They just these two people thinking they're controlling the game when they're not. The cookout as a whole is controlling the game, but it's again, let's face it, it's They were also put in the house with, you know, what's it? 10 other people who who wouldn't even look, wouldn't even look to think. This was, this was totally thing. They put in people who are bisexual, who are pansexual, who would be more liberal. Frenchie and Brent were the only Republicans, at least the only admitted Republicans. But even in those cases, Frenchie was a Republican who didn't like Donald Trump, and Brent was a Republican that's open-minded to other things, open to other views. So that's just, the way it is. So, even then, you're not looking at anything. There's not someone who could maybe catch on, who would catch on to something different, who wouldn't necessarily see, 6 black people in the house. It's kind of weird, you know. It's kind of interesting. And again, Cookout done a great job. They've nominated each other. They've fake being mad at each other and things like that. Yeah, whatever. So give them credit. I still not say they're not the best alliance ever. Last year's alliance was it. That was the most dominant because they won everything. Last year's alliance won everything. And this year the Cookout had other people winning. They won. They didn't win. And by all good standards, that's a nice theory, but it's totally not. It's last year's committee. They won everything. Cody, Nicole, Danielle, Memphis, Christmas. They all won everything. Enzo, I think, did Enzo win? I don't know, but they basically all won everything. So, and that's what was needed to happen to do so. So, um, yeah, it just was what it was. Um, um, but listen, it's what's going on today is that unless a shocking development happens, Brittany should be going home, and Brittany should be going home at the very least 5 to 3, right? Because no, it's 11. So let's see, 2 on the block, one thing. There's 11, 3. That's 8. Yeah, so she should be going home at the very least 5 to 3. At the most, maybe 7 to 1. I don't think she's gonna. I think Azza, knowing what is happening, is going to throw Brittany a vote. So Alyssa may vote too. I'm not sure. She may not want to put herself in a position where somehow DF would chance himself into an HOH that she's probably going up anyway, but she doesn't want to put more fuel on that fire. But it's either going to be 5 to 3, 7 to 1. I would think. Is that right though? Is that right? Because actually, as I'm not thinking about it, it's not, because there's one black. I'm thinking I'm counting the other black people, but there's 4 black people. Okay, so there's 4 black people not voting at the start. There's 4 black people voting at the start. So that's 4. And then there's 4 non-white people. There's Sarah Beth. There's Alyssa, DX, and Claire. Sarah Beth said she's voting. So it's voting. So yeah, oh my Jesus Christ. I sound like Christian and Alyssa trying to do math. Oh my goodness. Okay, so well, fuck. Maybe I was right to begin with. It's either gonna be 7 to 1 or 5 to 3. I don't think it's gonna be 4 to 4 and Kylan have to break a tie. And I don't think that what's her face, Derek F is going home at all. So again, if it happens, it would be the most shocking thing to happen in years on this game. In this game, in years. So yeah, this has been one of the longer ones this week. of my reviews. So incredible. We'll see what happens tonight. And yes, if thank you guys so much for staying this long and talking this out with me. It's been really fun. Usually, usually, this is probably the longest one yet, because as it gets down, as these more people get down, the timing of these gets down because there's not too much to talk about. It really is not too much to talk about. Because you know what's happening, you know what's going to go down, and things like that. Especially if the cookout stays, to be able to stay in power and stay together. Then it's definitely going to get lower and lower. So, but that's okay. Post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys feel about this week in Big Brother. What did you guys think was who do you think is playing the best game? Give me all your thoughts. Give me all your thoughts about what's going on now in this game. This is very, very interesting. Who you're looking to win HOH today, and yeah, a bunch of, and whatever else. How do you feel about the new twist, the high rollers, and anything else? If you want to put it down in the comment section, who you want people to vote for, do that as well. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.